In addition to nutrition studies, Nutrimenthe is also addressing parents' perceptions of the relationship between diet and mental performance and the economics of improving mental performance. Dr. Bernadette Egan from the University of Surrey explains why assessing consumer perceptions is important, and Niels Straub, an economist from the Institute for Market Research, Strategy and Planning, Munich, explains the economic potential of improving mental performance.
What is the significance of asking parents about the effect of diet on mental performance?
I think mental performance is important for children especially because it's very closely related to how they perform in school and how well they achieve. And parents need to understand that what they feed their children can have an effect. And so what we're trying to examine is whether they make that link. I mean, in general, it's interesting to know if parents make a link between diet and health and see a correlation. And also, from the point of view of the project we're working on, you have a lot of scientific evidence coming through and results from interventions and so on and so forth. But ultimately, parents are the gatekeepers to their children's diet and nutrition. And we've got to understand how they perceive this so that if there are important messages to transmit to parents, you've got to speak in a language that they can understand. And one of the things we have found, for example, in speaking to parents directly is you cannot ask them about mental performance. That's not a term that resonates with a parent, but they can understand a child's behaviour, a child's mood, whether a child can concentrate after eating certain things.
Are the results similar across Europe?
Yeah, very similar. I mean, we did see some differences, and I think they related mainly to, for example, the structure of the school day. So food at school is different in England to what it is in Germany and Spain. It's just a different structure, so that influences certain things. Certain other things, for example, in Germany, parents there spoke quite a bit about the use of supplements and the importance of avoiding vitamin deficiencies, and apparently that's because there's been some campaigns promoting vitamins, intake of vitamins and things like that. But generally it was very, very similar. I mean, we were quite surprised in some respects to see just how closely related all the themes were that came from each of the countries.
Did the parents of boys answer the questions differently from those of girls?
That's not something we could really assess because this was a qualitative study, so you don't tend to look at those sort of background characteristics. But from the interviews and what we've learned from them, we are now going on to do a much larger study, a quantitative questionnaire study, which will be sent to 400 parents and 100 teachers in each of the 4 countries. And from that, we will be able to analyse whether there are any differences.
Why would an economist get involved in a study on nutrition?
It's because, as you know, every intervention is connected with financial resources. You need to promote these interventions, and for every new intervention, you need to do an economic analysis if it's worth the costs, if you get enough economic benefit, so then you can provide these results to policy decision makers, and you have better arguing for do nutritional interventions when you can show there's an economic benefit for the society.
Has your analysis made any link between diet and economic output in later life?
We are still analyzing it, but unfortunately we couldn't find this link yet. We looked at medical data from literature, and there was no proven evidence for this link yet. We looked at different trials, did a systematic review, and had we only had limited evidence for the nutritional effects on mental development. But what we tried to do was now to calculate the potential economic benefit from mental development, improved cognitive and mental skills. So we could show that there's an enormous economic benefit for the society, and we hope to get the link between nutritional interventions and the economic outcome from the other project partners now in the Nutrimenthe project. So then we can link the nutritional interventions with a later economic outcome.
So does a better diet mean better qualifications?
If the children get better diet, get supplemented formula or some other sort of dietary intervention, then they can have improved cognitive skills, and then they will have a better performance at school, have a higher graduation level, and then they will have a higher income, have higher productivity, and so they will have an economic benefit for the whole society.